See, here's what's going to happen is that Kyle is actually not going to be part of this episode. He's just going to stand there by that door. Because actually, there's two couches here. So actually, he could do the show from that couch, but we just won't see him. But we'll, hear him.
Actually, no, that's not what I heard. I'm just a random voice from the side. I heard Robbie's going to do co-host. It's going to be called Sleeping Bag.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you tonight? Good to see you.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, how are you?
Doing well. Enjoying, it's almost the end of another week. I mean, it's Thursday, and Throwback Thursday. And in the spirit of Throwback Thursday, we're going to do another sort of throwback-style episode. If you've watched the last few episodes, we've talked a lot about football because obviously it's September. You are seeing us in September, as the great song, as the classic song said.
Yeah. Do you remember? Yes.
No, not that one. See you in September. I mean, that's another good one, but that's not the one I was thinking of.
There you go. Well, you could have also referenced the Green Day version, too.
A for effort. Yeah. Wake me up when September. Okay, or I'm going to stop.
That one's a bit more of a darker subject, so it's probably not a good song to
No, thank you. But so September is here, and that means the football season has kicked off, no pun intended. And so Kyle and I, on this Throwback Thursday, wanted to sort of take you back to our high school days. Because, see, in high school, we were both in various forms and heavily involved in high school football at Wellesley High. Kyle obviously playing for 4 years, and myself playing for a year and then watching for the next 3 years. So what we want to talk about tonight, which is something we haven't really talked about, we've talked about our high school football experiences a little bit in the past in various forms, but what we wanted to talk about tonight was our favorite visiting fields. So that means the fields in other towns besides Wellesley, because obviously Wellesley's field is the best.
Especially with their AstroTurf now.
Turf. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, their turf field that they have now, when it was grass back when we played. But we want to talk about the other fields, in other towns around, that we played at, that we really enjoyed playing at the most, or watching at the most, in my regards, since I only played for 1 year, watched for the other one. So, Kyle, let me start with you, because obviously, you did play for 4 years, so you had a lot of experience at the various opposing towns' fields, all throughout the Bay State Conference. So, what were some of your favorite fields that you traveled to throughout those 4 years that you enjoyed playing at the most?
Ooh, that's actually kind of a tough one, because I feel like a lot of the visiting fields that we were at, they had some pretty solid fields, actually, because at least from my experience, Wellesley was not the first field to have the turf.
Right.
Turf actually, I think it started I wanted to even say I feel like even Newton North had it before we did or something like that. But my favorite fields, I actually really enjoyed playing at Northeastern. I thought that was a very good one for Brookline. Because the thing is, Brookline, if I remember correctly, I don't think they had a legit football field, right?
So, I believe you're right. I know for freshman football, we played... We scrimmaged Brookline, but it was at some random field that it wasn't really.
It was at a park, actually.
Yeah, it was at a field at a park that was kind of like a makeshift football field. So yeah, their main true field was Parsons Field, which is Kyle was just talking about over at Northeastern, in sort of the Longwood area.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that was always a really good field to watch a game. I actually just went there. Funny thing is, I actually just went there and saw Wellesley play Brookline last fall.
Oh yeah.
So which was pretty cool.
That's cool. So I mean, I guess at this point, would that now be the high school field since they got rid of Northeastern football, or is that the official high school field? Is that, I don't even know how that works anymore.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, well, anyways, we're not very well vested into the politics of all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, so I really enjoyed going to Northeastern. I mean, because it was a college field. It was one of the few times I got to go to a full-blown, like, at the time, it was a full, college football field, and they had all the cool stuff going on, all the signs, and so that was pretty unique, actually. And speaking of college fields, I'm going to... Robbie's probably going to talk about it a little more than me because I feel like he's definitely got a bigger connection with it. But I really enjoyed playing at the BC football field. And we've watched a bunch of games at that field, but it was really different playing at the field. It was the only time I actually got to play there was senior year of football.
Yeah.
Was when we faced Newton North.
That's right, correct.
I think
I was at that game in the stand.
Yeah. Because I remember usually
I wasn't missing that one.
Oh hell no! Oh my god! I don't blame you. It was. I mean, granted we lost, but it was just kind of a fun time. I just liked the overall feeling of the field because that was legit, like full blown. Like, hey, this is a big deal. College,
yeah.
Like, this is. It was cool, like, and it was the only time I ever got to play there. I think it may have been because I think the Newton North field was under construction or something, so they moved us there, which was, that's a pretty good upgrade, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take it.
Yeah, right. And I'm trying to think other field-wise. What field really jumped out? I also actually really was a big fan of the Natick football field. Also because maybe I had some track memories there too. So we did use, it was one of those cases where the track went around the football field, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
It was nice though. I kind of liked it. I just liked the overall setting of the field. It was kind of near like a bit slightly busier road, but it had a very kind of just. I don't know, just the atmosphere. It's hard to put into words, but the atmosphere, I just really liked at that field. It was a very open field. There was, I don't know, it just felt like it was very active. I feel like there was a lot going on. Maybe with all those different pieces, all the track part of it and everything. So that was a pretty memorable field for me overall in football. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What were the other teams we faced again?
So there would have been Needham, Framingham, Milton, Walpole, Norwood, Weymouth, and Braintree. I think are the ones that you haven't mentioned yet.
Okay. Oh, you know what one actually? Okay, so I'm going to talk about two more, then I'll hand it over to Robbie. But I actually, but I actually really. So, I actually really enjoyed Norwood a lot. I just liked the overall. I think it was right around the time when the high school got kind of renovated, or it was becoming renovated. But I actually really liked their field. To me, it felt like the quintessential high school feel. It just felt like a classic high school feel.
Now, if you don't mind me interrupting you there for a second, because obviously for those of you who have watched our show for a while now, you probably remember over the past few years we've actually had a couple episodes from Norwood High School, the Norwood High School football field back when Kyle used to live in Norwood. But if I remember correctly, that particular version of the field was sort of built within the last few years. So I feel like it was wasn't it a different field back when we were in high school? I mean, I never went to that field when we were in high school, so maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they upgraded their field after we left, from what I remember.
No, you know what? Actually, you might be right. Now I think about it, I think their field actually was kind of like an older grass field.
Because no, yeah, I was about to say, you know what it was? I remember exactly now. Okay. Their field was at the middle school.
Oh, at the middle school?
Yeah, their field was at the middle school. I remember. Wow. Yeah, no, I remember because they moved it back to the high school. Like I said, just a few years back. Before that, yeah, they played their home games at the middle school.
At the middle school.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that because I was like thinking, I was like, but yeah, so
that was interesting.
But yeah, but no, I mean, I'm sure it was a great field there too.
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid if I remember correctly. For some reason, I kept thinking they. Well, I guess my memory's just kind of tinkering me a little bit, but
it's been a few years.
I think you know what it was. I think ever since we went to that game, I think that was what I had in my
head.
Yeah, we played it. And we played at so many fields, so sometimes you get kind of like lost.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
You lose track of the fields. And I would say definitely. And I know Robbie's probably going to talk about this one too, but I had a lot of memories at the Needham football field. I thought that was,
Stop stealing my pitch. Stop stealing my ones. No, I'm kidding.
It was just from a player's standpoint, it was really cool. The only thing is, we got to play a little bit, I think, in the freshman game, but in the, I got to play. It was kind of cool because Needham has I think they're one of the more unique fields because they have the huge hill on the side.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's a great feature. I know there are travels, but that hill is really cool because it could just fit so many more people. There's much more room to like move around and stuff like that. It's pretty. Yeah. It's a pretty fun place to watch a game, whether it be football, soccer, lacrosse, whatever you're watching over there. So.
Oh yeah. No, it was just really. It was pretty awesome. It was just there weren't really many fields like it, and I think Needham. Do they have it? No, they do have a turf field.
Yeah. So I was going to mention this. They turfed their field literally the year after we graduated from high school.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. I think the fall of 2008 was the first year they played on turf.
Yeah. There was just something kind of very. There's something very novel. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like turf fields. There's a lot of good aspects about them, but there's something very novel about those grass fields. You know, I just liked having because you had the mud flying everywhere.
I was about to say, the mud, sort of the mud bowl aspect on rainy days actually kind of was an interesting sight to see.
Because I feel like you don't get that as much nowadays. Because when it rains, you don't get as the turf fields don't produce mud like an actual grass field.
Because they absorb the rain.
Yeah, they're meant to last through the elements. But I loved coming out of the football game and your pants were all dirty with mud. It looked like you were just finished shooting a football movie. At the end of all the football movies, they have
you gotta go home and wash them all.
Yeah, okay, that was a pain. I'm sure for my parents. I felt bad for them, but it was still fun though. There was still something really kind of I liked it. There was something very classic about that, and you don't get that. I feel like you're getting. Well, I mean, I'm sure there are still grassy fields, but you don't get that as much nowadays. Which is kind of So that's kind of my. Those are my 2 cents or
cool.
5 cents, however you want to measure it.
10 cents, 20 cents, 45 cents. I have to agree with Kyle in a lot of respects. From like I said, I played 1 year and then watched for the other 3. The Brookline field is really cool, especially since it's not every day you could say you take the green line to go see your high school play a football game. I usually, when I would go, I would take it to Longwood and then walk maybe a couple blocks over to the field rather than trying to park over there because it's very tough to park over there because it's all street parking. So Brookline was a really cool field. Watching the game at BC senior year was a lot of fun just because, as Kyle mentioned, I go to a lot of BC football games because my dad and I are season ticket holders, and so to see your high school playing a game there in a place that you've been hundreds of times before was just a pretty cool thing. It was just a really cool thing. I know we lost, but it was just it was a really cool experience. It was actually one of the few times that I've gone to a BC football game that I went to the BC football stadium and actually got to park at the stadium. Didn't have to take a bus or a train to get there or something like that. So, Natick has always been a favorite of mine. Back in high school, and then even after high school. Natick's always been a favorite to go to, even just for non-Wellesley games, even just to see, some of the Natick, like Walpole clashes over the years, or just whatever, Natick is a really cool field. Framingham. Also, I really liked watching the game at Framingham's field over at Bowditch.
Yeah.
That was, I think I went there our senior year and saw the game when we beat Framingham that year. I'm trying to think. Needham, obviously. With the hill and all that. Definitely a cool place, like I said, to watch a game. The only other two visiting fields that I went to were freshman year when I was actually playing on the team. We traveled to to Weymouth and to Braintree. Both those fields were good, and they weren't really that memorable. The Braintree field, they'd be a little bit more memorable, and that might even be back just because I've been back since. It's kind of like the same field still. But Braintree and Weymouth were decent. Let me try and think of any others that I think that's about it for me. Because I never went to Milton during our high school days. I never went to Dedham during our high school days. I never went to Norwood during our high school days.
That's fair.
So that's sort of mine. I kind of have to agree with all Kyle's selections. But definitely, those were all really good fields to watch a game at. So
and actually, one more I wanted to point out too that I forgot for a little bit, but this was actually one of also the other most unique fields that I played at. Was actually Newton North's field, which it was one of if not I think the only field that actually had. This is before I think they renovated and everything, but they had or maybe they still have it. I don't know. I don't know I haven't been to that field in forever, but they had these stone bleachers pretty much. Do you remember that?
I'm sorry. What field? I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. No worries.
Zoned out there.
Stop texting, Robbie.
I know.
God.
Filming should be illegal, but it's not. Sorry. What were you saying? What field were you saying?
No, I was talking about the Newton North field. How you remember? I don't know because I forget what you say you went there now.
So Newton North. You know what? Yes, I did go there because freshman year we played them there. So I did go there once. I did go there one time. I feel like they had stands on one side, and then the visitor side was kind of open area behind the bench. I think
that's what I was talking about.
That's if I remember correctly.
Basically, I know one of the sides. I think they had one. It was
no, you're right. You're right. The home side was stone wooden bleachers. Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
I'm remembering that now. Yes.
That was kind of different. I was like, wow, I never really saw a football field with literally stone. They looked like giant steps, but they were meant for the bleachers for sitting and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool actually. I actually really enjoyed that aspect. The field itself was pretty alright, but I thought that was kind of cool. As an audience member, I can just picture them I'm going to sit in some badass slab of stone here and
yeah, no, that's right. I remember. Now I was trying to remember New North if I had ever been to their actual field, and now you jogged my memory. So yeah, so thank you for that. But yeah, so now we're gonna kind of move on to the end portion of our episode. We got a couple of
we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. So first things first. Is sort of our first, and I use that term loosely because the fantasy football season doesn't technically start till tonight actually, but it doesn't really start for real until Sunday. Mm-hmm. But it is worth pointing out again that this week Kyle and I will be battling on the fantasy football computer. So obviously next time we film, we will have the result of that matchup. I'm gonna win.
No, not really. What? Oh God, you just bad coffee.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
It's terrible. You should really get something for that. But yeah, it should be exciting. So good luck.
No, good luck, man. Hey,
good luck. May the best man win.
Oh, he will.
Yes, he definitely will. I was like, you just pointed at me.
I just pointed I guess I'm not very competitive, aren't I?
Yeah. But yeah, so to all the fantasy football players out there, best of luck to you in this week one coming up. And then, obviously, before we move on to a new segment that I'm going to be sort of debuting, we are going to do our sort of pre-show food recap because we actually went to a new place tonight.
We did.
The Boston Burger Company is located in Davis Square.
And I believe there might be a couple other locations.
There's one in Cambridge and one on Boylston Street.
Yeah.
As well. And it was really good. They had good burgers. I had a salad as well. That was really good. Yeah, just a good atmosphere. It's kind of like it's interesting because it's kind of like that, like sort of small restaurant / kind of bar feel. Like it's kind of got a couple different feels to it, but it was worth the trip.
Yeah, it was. Especially if I would highly, we would highly recommend just because also if you guys really like, if you're big burger fans, but you also kind of like some wacky flavors, they had really crazy flavors there. They had some with like Robbie, I knew you had which one was it?
The ranch burger.
The ranch one, yeah. So you had the ranch one. I had this weirder one with like fried pickles. There are some other ones where you can get like the Big Papi, which had like I think eggs and stuff like that, and you could just do so much with like the burgers there. There were so many different kinds of burgers you could have, and it was really cool. And two of the other really cool features of that place too is that they had some really nice homemade chips. So if you guys like homemade potato chips, it's really good over there. I highly recommend. And you got like a bunch of different sides you can do. You can still do French fries and coleslaw and baked beans, which are pretty solid. And also, if you like shakes, that is one hell of a place to go because you're gonna get your money's worth. So the shakes are about anywhere between like $10 to maybe like $13, which is kind of absurd. You're thinking, okay, how can a shake be that expensive?
These are not your everyday shakes, folks. These are not your average shakes.
Oh yeah, like you can do so.
They literally have candy on them.
Yeah, like
we didn't have. Honestly, I'll be honest. Like we didn't have any this time, but like just looking at them, like they are intense.
There's one, if I remember, I haven't tried it yet, but there's one that will actually give you, I think, an actual slice of cheesecake. Like they'll just throw it on top of it with like icing on the side, and you're at candy. It's ridiculous. But if you like shakes, then that's another place to go to. Highly recommend it. So
no, Boston Burger Company definitely gets a double thumbs up from both of us.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a very good place. If you're in Davis Square or even, like I said, in Cambridge or Boston, definitely look that place up. Yeah. It's really good. So the new segment that we are going to premiere this week is going to be a segment that I'm going to do, and we're going to call it Robbie's Football Favorites Recap. Try saying that 3 times fast. And basically it's going to be, I'm going to recap each week my favorite football team at each level. So Wellesley High School, Boston College, and the New England Patriots. Each week sort of recapping how each team did that particular week, how each team is doing just overall during in their season. So it's gonna be a fun segment. And so to start off, Wellesley and the Patriots have not opened up yet. They both open up this coming weekend. But BC did open up over Labor Day weekend, and they opened up in grand fashion with a victory over Virginia Tech in their home and season opener.
Nice.
I was at the game. As I said, we have season tickets, so we were there, and it was an awesome game. great crowd, and BC struck early and often, and like I said, was able to hold on at the end and get the victory. So I was very excited, to see BC football first of all be back, obviously after the off season, and to see them get the win. Was especially in a opening conference game, because it's been a while since they've actually had a season opener that was a conference game as well. So it was really fun to see. And like I said, they got the win. This weekend they will be hosting Richmond at Alumni Stadium on Saturday afternoon, and I'll be there as well. And then, like I said, just quickly, Wellesley will open their season up tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. They will be playing at Weymouth. Speaking of, we were just talking about Weymouth, the Bay State Conference. They'll be opening up at Weymouth tomorrow night. So good luck to the Raiders as they begin the 2019 season. And then the Patriots, as many of you know, will be opening up on Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they will be raising another Super Bowl banner to the heights at Gillette Stadium. So very, very excited for that, and hopefully all three teams can take home W's this weekend. So Kyle, anything else you want to add, just in terms of anything, or video games, anything like that?
Yeah, usually I have a video game review, but I think I'm going to skip one this week. I haven't really gone to many sports games that I know of, but I've been really busy beating Prince of Persia, so I think once I get back into maybe some more sports games, I'll come back to you guys next time about maybe a sports game review. So,
all right.
So yeah.
Sounds good. We look forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. That is going to wrap up this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Thank you, as always, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, he's Kyle, I'm Robbie, and we are your co-hosts for On a Couch Talking Sports. And we will both see you next time here on the couch talking sports. Bye, everybody. Good night. Well, here's a pillow for the side voice. What if I just did an entire episode just like asleep, just like, and today in sports.
With sleeping bag as your co-host. That's very
sleeping bag.
Very fitting, Robbie.
What do you think of? I don't know. What do you think of what's going on in the Red Sox right now? Well, Robbie, I think that.